Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. The previous videos I did, I talked about how the US population is going down via the decline in birth rates and how MGTOW might have had a hand in that. I also mentioned that I found statements that MGTOW men are not exactly avoiding women at all costs, some MGTOW men that is, but they're also having sex with them. So if the US population is going down by people not producing babies, but MGTOW guys having sex, even though they're avoiding relationships and marriage, etc., then who are they having sex with? I had a look around to see if I could find any information, but all I really found was this. It's written by Reuters. I'm not even going to pronounce those names, and it's written June the 12th, 2020, or sometime last week, 2 days ago. It's young US men having lots less sex in the 21st century, study shows. It's essentially a rehash of the articles I've found before, but one thing I want to put your mind to is this age group, 25 to 34, or the prime age of guys that not having sex. But bear that in mind. I found this. It has to be a screensaver because the Telegraph wants me to join the site, but sod that. It says this was written in 2014 or 8 years ago. It reads, last week a report revealed that 1 in 10 British men have paid for sex. Well, that's false for a start. You don't pay for sex. You pay for time with the woman, not sex. Find that shocking? ? Then try this for size. The same report, pulled from a total of over 6,000 men aged 16 to 74, also found that those most likely to have paid for sex in the last 5 years were single men aged 25 to 34. The research conducted by the University College of London, blah 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 blah. The picture that emerges does not necessarily fit the stereotype of the lonely old man. Men who pay for sex are more likely to be young professionals. Well, they're not paying for sex, they're paying for time. But the young professionals, i.e. the alpha males that women want to get with, but they're not going to them. This is just trying to cover over the reason why social media, electronic gaming, binge watching. Well, women engage more in social media than guys. Guys play electronic computer games more than women, and binge watching is sort of 50-50, I would imagine. And it goes to social activities largely unchanged among young married women, along with no notable decline among homosexuals, the research reported. Men who are unemployed or at lower income are more likely to be sexually inactive, as were men and women who are students. Naturally, if you are paying for time with a woman, you need money, and if you're unemployed, you can't afford it. Then it just goes on. And also the COVID-19 coronavirus has left many unemployed and fearful of infection is likely to exacerbate the trend. Now, I found this article. Why do men in their 20s pay for time? We asked them. This was written on 27th of January 2018, or 2 years ago, about 2 years before this quarantine period kicked in. It's just stories, but this guy's story was more interesting. Tom, he's age 29, in the prime age group. He's only seen escorts workers in person on 2 occasions, different women each time. He's not a homosexual and not very kinky, so has been the girlfriend experience both times. He doesn't, where is it? He just gets lonely. I do a couple of online dating apps, but I don't get many matches, and then trying to get dates from those matches even less likely. Probably Tinder. Actually trying to date someone a few times is nearly impossible for me. Women getting picky. I've been using these apps for almost a year, not sure why it's so hard for me. I have good photos and a good profile and I'm polite and respectful, but even the matches I do get are with women I'm not really that interested in, probably land whales. What does he say? He's been with them several hours overnight. This can be more expensive, and because of my income, it means I can only see 2 or 3 times a year. Give you something to look forward to. But I feel it's a more intimate experience that way. Yes, gives you something more to look forward to. Now, I also found this in the Quora web page, questions, answers. Why do some good-looking guys pay for time? And this is just explains why. I've had my share of experience with this. I do not pay for sex if it is not a girlfriend experience. One provider had a degree in chemical engineering, but charged $400 per hour. Combined with some of them I've seen, that's quite cheap. On the webs, that is. A full night with her would cost $2,000, but I've done it. It was completely worth it. Dressed to the nines, got a limo, rent an exotic car, or at least a high-end luxury car, take her to a high-end restaurant, and then dance in and spend the night with her in your hotel. In other words, treat it like a date with benefits at the end. Now, the one I found interesting was this reply from William Deemer. He works with persons with a sex addiction related issues for 13 years. Because they want to cut through all the gameplay, many of them have probably been burnt before in bad relationships and divorces, and just don't want the hassle of her relationship and anything that comes with it. For them, paying lots of money for a high-end escort is cheaper than trying to maintain a relationship with a girlfriend and all the other things that come with it. In other words, she can be moody, she can play mind games on you. If you think about all the money you spend on dates, dinner, presents, drinks, and that type of thing really adds up after a while, and there's no guarantee you're going to have great sex. On the other hand, if you forego her good money with a professional from a high-end escort agency, you're guaranteed to get a beautiful woman who is very skilled. She'll tell you what you want to hear, indulge you in whatever fantasies you want, and leave with no strings attached. This is very appealing to some men, especially those who have lots of money trying to date unsuccessfully or have been through a bad marriage that is a cost them a lot of money. I realise that sounds a little bit callous, common sense to me, but bad experience in dating and marriage will do that sometimes. If all the man really wants is to indulge himself in really good sex, why spend the money on something that's not certain when you can spend it on a sure thing, i.e. you treat if you book a dinner date and all night with an escort, you treat it like a date, a proper date, but with benefits at the end, because you know you're going to get laid. That's how it's rationalized. Now back to that. And that lack of sexual activity is on the rise among men aged 25 to 34. Well, if these guys are the alpha males, they could probably be concentrating on their career and they don't really have time. Or if they are MGTOWs, then this is a false narrative in this article, which was written, who wrote it, by them two, trying to give the impression that sexlessness is becoming the norm in America, whereas some MGTOW men are not getting involved in relationships, but they are getting involved in sex because Here, guys in their 20s are going with escorts, paying for time, and even good-looking guys are paying for time. I read somewhere that there are 500,000 women in America who work as escorts. I'll have to do a bit more research for the next video. I'll have to do this topic like a 3-parter, with this as the introduction, the next one more in detail, and then the conclusion. Sorry it's a bit iffy and all over the place, but it's a really big topic, and I wanted to just to narrow it right down as to why some MGTOW guys are having sex and with whom, and it seems that they're paying for time with an escort. And I just wanted to broaden that out a bit for those of you who never even thought about it or have no idea what's going on in that field, as in guys that want female companionship for at least a night with no strings attached, even though they're MGTOWs. I think this video's gone on long enough, so I'll wrap it up here till next Monday. Well, I'll probably have the part 2 of this trilogy-ish sector. But till then, thank you for watching. You know the routine: like, dislike, comment, subscribe, completely up to you. So until the next one, bye bye.